The destination of today's flight review is Los Cabos, Mexico, where we'll be celebrating someone's special birthday. This popular vacation destination is located at the very bottom of the Baja California Peninsula. It features two amazing towns, Cabo San Lucas and San Jose del Cabo. There are tons of activities nearby, along with beautiful beaches and incredible resorts to enjoy. One of the most iconic spots is the Arch of Cabo San Lucas, also referred to as El Arco. It is only accessible by water taxi, but said to be one of the most romantic places in the world where you can watch the sunset. Today we'll be checking out United Airlines first class on flights from Boston to Houston, and then from Houston to Los Cabos in business class. I'm going to show you how you can book this flight for around $30, and we'll also see if United's Clean Plus initiative is all it's cracked up to be, or if it's just PR. My name is Jeff, and I believe the journey is half the fun. Today we'll be flying United Airlines in their domestic first-class cabin to see how the service compares way back to what it was like during the golden age of travel in 2019. Full disclosure, United is my preferred airline and has been since they merged with Continental way back in 2012-ish. Now, despite my loyalty to United, I still love to fly other airlines too, and I'm going to give you my honest feedback about what today's experience was like. United is far from perfect, just like every US airline, which all seem to strive for mediocrity at best. But I almost always seem to enjoy the experience as a frequent flyer with United, and I find that the amenities, service, comfort, their lounges, and the route network to be the best overall in the United States in my opinion. Now, domestic first class is a unique and somewhat confusing branding scheme in the US, which is not anything at all like a first class product as defined anywhere else in the world. And this is actually more like what you'll find in United's premium economy seating, they call Premium Plus, on the large wide-body planes that typically fly long-haul routes. The reason they still call it first class seems to be more of a marketing ploy that United's friends at Delta, American, Alaska, and Hawaiian Airlines all subscribe to. And the same flight going internationally, as in the case of our second flight today, is branded as business class, which is much more appropriate. Although it's worth noting that United's Polaris business class on their long-haul international flights offers 100% lie flat seating, unlike these old-fashioned recliner seats we'll be traveling in today. But whatever you want to call it, it's still a lot more comfortable than the seats in the back. These flights previously came with a great multi-course meal service on flights longer than a couple of hours and include alcoholic beverages at no additional cost. We'll see how that stacks up to what they're offering today. Personally, I don't recommend spending a lot more money on this product, but if it's a small price difference or you can get a good deal using points or miles, or maybe it's a special occasion, it might be worthwhile. These seats are a newer design found on United's Airbus aircraft. The Airbus A320 series is actually the best-selling aircraft of all time. It's a bit wider than its competitor, the Boeing 737, so I find the seats are usually slightly wider and more comfortable as well, especially if you're flying in economy class. United has made a huge effort to assure the public that their planes are safe and clean. Last year, United teamed up with Clorox to announce a Clean Plus initiative, and they began passing out wipes for passengers to clean their seats, offering additional peace of mind, and also ensured that additional cleaning methods were taking place. Now, because of safety, they began boarding from the back of the plane to the front, doing away with their usual boarding methods. However, if you were a 1K member, if you were a global services member, if you had a disability, if you had children under 2, if you were in the military, or if you're sitting in first class, they deemed that it was safe for you to pre-board, but not anyone else, back of the front forward. After clearing through security, we headed to the United Club, and has been the case since early in 2020, it was still closed. Unfortunately, Amanda and I both lost a couple United Club passes because we were unable to use them since most of their clubs were closed. I can only assume this is for cost-cutting reasons, not safety, because some clubs in their busier hub airports remain open. You can see United's commitment to safety because of all the signage around the airport, ensuring that they are doing their part. And they're making announcements on every flight to let you know about all the efforts that they're doing to keep everyone safe, such as cleaning high-touch surfaces on each flight. Now that sounds great until you step on the plane and find an empty stroopwafel wrapper inside the tray table like I did on a recent flight. And to make matters even worse, they didn't even offer me a stroopwafel on that flight, my favorite airplane snack. I think a stroopwafel is much better than a Biscoff cookie. Besides, isn't that a Delta thing? As we discovered when we got on board, despite all the PR about cleanliness and safety, these seats weren't cleaned in quite some time. If you're a germaphobe, you probably would be quite grossed out to discover this. It looks like these seats have been sitting there collecting food and crumbs and who knows what else for several days. We'll be sure to take a look at this on our next flight as well and see if perhaps maybe this is just a one-off, maybe a problem with the Boston cleaning crew not doing a thorough cleaning on the plane overnight or the night before that or the night before that. Unfortunately for safety or maybe cost-cutting reasons, United no longer offers pre-departure drink service in first class. We pushed back on time and began our taxi out to the runway.
Flight attendants, please be seated for departure.
About 45 minutes after takeoff, we were offered drinks, including alcoholic beverages, although personally I usually stick with a Diet Coke and water when flying. We were given a choice of either a snack box or a veggie sandwich. What surprised me is when we got the veggie sandwich is actually a bagel stick with cream cheese on it, which was probably a lot more appropriate for a morning flight. And it was actually quite good. Now I did miss the meal service that was always part of this flight before 2020, which often came with my favorite freshly baked chocolate chip cookies later in the flight. Although I enjoyed the sandwich, the experience is a big step down from the multi-course meals they used to serve. United offers Wi-Fi for a fee and free movies you can stream on your personal device. On older Boeing 737 planes, they also have in-seat screens with live TV from DirecTV, just like JetBlue offers across their entire fleet. Either way, the movie selection was pretty good, so I found more than enough to keep me entertained.
I was waiting for the moment to arrive. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
The C-Tray has a cool stand for your tablet or phone, and United offers free streaming entertainment on all flights and Wi-Fi for purchase, unlike JetBlue where they offer Wi-Fi for free. Before long, we were descending into George Bush Sr.'s International Airport, and because my family lives here, I'm quite familiar with this place. We had a long layover, so my parents were nice enough to bring us out to lunch in Houston, which was a great way to break up the travel day. Normally when we have time, we visit the Amex Centurion Lounge in Terminal D, which is free to all Platinum and Centurion cardholders. And check out my link below with the latest Amex offers as well. It is an easy walk from there to Terminal C and E, where United operates most of their flights. We didn't have much time, so we used Clear to breeze through security, one of my favorite travel hacks that's a huge time saver and a lot of fun to use since they identify you through scanning your eyeballs or fingerprints, and they quickly usher you to the front of the line. I left a link below if you'd like to learn more about Clear. This video is sponsored by Ready Set Film. Since 2009, we have helped businesses, newlyweds, and nonprofits with exceptionally high quality films and video content for both TV, the web, social media, and more. Before long, we boarded the plane for our second flight. Now, I understand that the cleaning is usually outsourced to another company, so we couldn't possibly have this experience twice, right? Well, let's take a look at plane number 2. And how would you like some leftover headphones? Would you want to store your water bottle and personal belongings in a location filled with days worth of untouched food remnants and even someone's cut off fingernail? To have the same dirty experience on 2 different aircraft really shows that the clean aircraft PR put on by many airlines, not just United, is total BS. Imagine if you had this experience after you checked into a nice hotel. You'd be furious, and rightfully so. Do you think this is unacceptable or am I overreacting? Let me know in the comments below.
The safety card. Leave your seat for the operation of the exit doors on this aircraft.
Now on to the positives. The service on both flights was great, but really awesome on this second flight. The flight attendant showed everyone the food options, which also included a sandwich and a choice of a couple of snack boxes. I thought this was a really nice touch because if you had any food preferences or allergies, you would know exactly what you ordered. She actually brought a tray around and allowed everyone to read the ingredients for themselves. I really liked how the seat reclines forwards, not backwards, so you won't feel like a jerk reclining into the person behind you. However, we were both seated in row 3, the last row in the cabin, which had a divider behind us anyway. We booked this last minute, less than a week in advance, and there were tickets available for about 40,000 United miles plus about $30 in taxes. Or we could pay $390 for a one-way fare, which interestingly was only $75 more than economy class fare. There are no direct flights from Boston to Cabo, so you'll typically have a stop in one of the hub airports for whichever airline you fly. After a nice relaxing day of travel, we arrived in Mexico to celebrate Amanda's birthday, our first time out of the country in over a year. Would you believe we booked this beautiful 1,200 square foot one-bedroom villa for less than $60 worth of points per night? That's probably a topic for another video. Disney ride says over and over and over again, it's a small world after all. So why not get out there and explore it? I believe travel helps us build a more peaceful planet, and I hope to see you on my next journey. Peace out. Until you find an empty stroopwafel wrapper, find an empty stroopwafel wrapper. I can't say. Now, as we discovered